Hi students, welcome to chemistry class. Today we are going to see phase rule and its application topic. In that today we are going to see introduction to phase rule. So I am Dr. S. Rekha, Associate Professor, RMD Engineering College, Chennai. What is phase rule? Phase rule is defined by William Gibbs in 1874. So he was the one who did the experiment between equilibrium of a heterogeneous system. Okay, in a heterogeneous system, how different phases are in equilibrium was studied, and he gave a rule called phase rule, and that goes by a simple mathematical term F is equal to C minus P plus 2. What is F stands for? F stands for degrees of freedom. What is the number of variables required to identify a system is called as a degrees of freedom. C stands for number of component involved in the system, and P stands for number of phase in equilibrium. Variables plus 2 determines variables like temperature and pressure. He started his work using temperature and pressure, varying temperature and pressure, how the system varies, which is in equilibrium. He studied that. Explanation. Let us see the first one, phase. How to define a phase? Okay. So definition of phase goes like this. It is a homogeneous system. It is an homogeneous system. See, consider liquid water. Okay. So it is homogeneous throughout. There is no molecule which is bigger, no molecule which is smaller. I cannot identify that. Everything is uniform. So they are homogeneous in nature. Physically distinct. In that water, I put some ice cubes, say. Ice cube is a different phase, right? And water is a different phase. So I can physically distinguish them. Liquid I can distinguish from solid, that I can distinguish from vapor. So phase is something which is homogeneous, physically distinct, mechanically separable portion of the system. Yeah, I can use filter to separate ice cube from the ice. Yes, mechanically I can separate it. So by some mechanical means you can separate the different phases. Then it is called as a phase. Yeah, last part of it, which is separated from other part of the system by a definite boundary. I can say where the solid ends, where the liquid ends, where the gas ends. How long, what are the area where the solid is there, where the ice is there. So that is distinguishable, physically distinct, and also has a definite boundary. Okay. So what is a phase? Homogeneous, physically distinct, mechanically separable portion of a system having a definite boundary is called as a phase. Let us understand this definition with some examples. Okay. Air, a mixture of nitrogen, oxygen, carbon dioxide, water vapor, etc. Okay. So if we have all these gases into one system, then how many phases I am going to have? Air, can you distinguish with your naked eye where is nitrogen, where is oxygen, where is carbon dioxide? No. So then it constitutes a single phase. Okay. A system containing only liquid water. There is no vapor phase. So if I take liquid water, how many phase it constitutes? Yes, it is a phase 1. A system containing liquid water and water vapor. So I have water as well as water vapor. Definitely it is a two-phase system. I can distinguish water vapor from water. A system containing liquid water, water vapor and solid ice. So I have water, water vapor and solid ice. Here how many systems? So how many phase? I have 3 phase. Solid phase, liquid phase and gaseous phase. So phase is 3. Then immiscible liquid constitute a separate phase. Example, see each immiscible liquid constitute a separate phase. See here we have water, cyclohexane, chloroform. I can distinguish each phase. Each phase has its own boundary. Each phase is homogeneous on its own. Hence, it is a separate phase, put a separate phase. For this system, phase is 3. So we have a separate. I have one more example for immiscible liquid, water and oil. So it has two phases. Yes. Now, miscible liquid constitute one single phase. Yes, water and alcohol. See, I am mixing water with alcohol. I am not able to distinguish both. So it forms one single phase. Solution. If a salt is dissolved in water, on dissolving, see the second beaker, I am unable to distinguish sugar and water. So it forms a single phase. It is homogeneous. So it is a single phase. Okay, saturated solution. Now I prepare a saturated solution. You can see the beakers, you can understand. So here I have liquid water as well as the salt in it. So it is phase 2. Salt and sand, salt and mud in a mixture. Now I have a mixture. Okay. So how many phase I can distinguish salt from mud? So it constitute two phase. Any number of solid, that many number of phase. Okay. Any number of solid, that many number of phase. Let us see one more example. I have in one spoon sugar, another spoon salt. If I mix these two together, what will happen? Will it be a single phase or a two phase? Surely it is going to be two phase, because I can distinguish the crystal nature of the salt and sugar because they are of different crystal structure. I can, by naked eye itself, I can distinguish. Even under microscope, I can distinguish very well. But remember thing, if they are also same type, any number of solid mixed together, always they constitute a different phase. Okay. If I have 5 different salt under combination as a mixture, then it is going to constitute 5 different phase. So phase will be 5. Let us see few chemical equations. Calcium carbonate decomposes to give you calcium oxide and carbon dioxide. Here we have two solid and one gaseous phase. So totally we have 3 phase here. And next one, nitrogen dioxide with water give you HNO3 and nitrous oxide gas. So we have two gaseous phase, so constitute to one phase, and water and HNO3 in the liquid state, so one more phase. So we have totally two phase. Now another example, here we have 3 aqueous state and 1 solid state. So all the 3 aqueous state constitute one single phase and solid phase another single phase. So we have totally 2 phases. Yes, in this example, decomposition of nitrogen dioxide, we have all the 3 element in gaseous state. So it will constitute a single phase. So phase is equal to 1. Now I have another example here. Acetic acid on dilution gives you acetate ion and H plus ion, hydronium ion. Okay, so how many phase? So I have aqueous, liquid, aqueous, aqueous. So all are in liquid state. So it constitutes to one single phase. Yes. Magnesium carbonate on decomposition gives you magnesium oxide and carbon dioxide. Here we have two solid phase and one gaseous phase. Obviously, we have 3 different phases. Yes, iron in presence of water forms iron oxide and hydrogen gas. So we have two gaseous phase, so it constitutes single phase. Okay, two gaseous elements, so single phase. Two solid element constitute two phase. So totally 3 phase we have. So here we have sulfur rhombic, sulfur monoclinic in the solid state. I have told all solid constitute different phase. So it is phase 2. And I have copper sulfate with 5H2O forming copper sulfate 5H2O crystal. So here we have two solid phase and one liquid phase. So totally we have 3 phases here. Component. Let us define component. So number of component of a given system is defined as the smallest number of independently variable constituent, that is a variable which is independent. Okay, variable constituent which is independent and which is taking part in equilibrium, and by means of which each phase in the equilibrium can be defined by means of a chemical equation. Let me repeat, the smallest number of independently variable constituent taking part in an equilibrium by means of which the composition of each phase can be expressed in terms of a chemical equation. Let me explain this a complicated definition in a simple form. You know, to make tea, what are the ingredients you want? Okay, I want tea powder, I want water, I want milk, and I want sugar. Let us consider we need 4 components in making tea. Okay, if I reduce any one of the component, still I can call it as a tea. Yes, I can reduce water. If I am reducing water, also then it is also called as tea. Can I reduce one more element in this? Yes, I can reduce either sugar or milk. In Western countries, they never add milk to the tea. They add water and tea powder. That's all. Okay, little bit of sugar if required. So I can reduce milk also. If I remove milk, okay, and sugar, so I need only water and tea powder to make tea. Still it is called as tea. So initially I had 4 component. Now I told the term smallest number of independently variable component. Maybe you may have 4 component. In that I want a smallest count. So smallest count to make tea is 2 component. Right. Similarly, in a given system, smallest number of variable by means of which I can define each phase which is in equilibrium in a given system. So that is component. Let us see example. From that you will understand still better. Okay, let us take one example. Ice, water, water vapor. How do we represent this ice? What is the chemical formula for ice? It is H2O. Water, it is H2O. Water vapor, it is H2O. So it is made up of one single component. So this system is called as one component system. C takes the value. A saturated solution of NaCl consists of solid NaCl, NaCl in the form of solution, and water vapor. So totally we have 3 components, but this system can be represented as NaCl and water. So hence it is a 2 component system. So smallest number of independently variable constituent. So it was 3, so it has got reduced to 2, because with 2 I can express the system. Then thermal decomposition of calcium carbonate. See this equation. Calcium carbonate decomposes to give you this. So here I have three components. See, I have calcium carbonate, calcium oxide, and carbon dioxide. Totally 3 component I have. Well, whether we can reduce it or not, we'll see. Component is given as 2. How? We'll take any 2 component and we'll try to define all the 3 different phases. Okay. So first phase, solid phase of calcium carbonate. Considering calcium carbonate and carbon dioxide, I can express calcium carbonate and 0 carbon dioxide. So this is called chemical equation. Putting plus and writing is called by means of a chemical equation. So CaO I can represent as calcium carbonate minus carbon dioxide. What is left out here? So CaO is left out. So I can represent that, and carbon dioxide 0 calcium carbonate and plus carbon dioxide. Hence, so I can represent 3 different phase with these 2 element itself. So it turns out to be 2 component system. Yeah, let us consider calcium carbonate and calcium oxide as the component to define the system. Okay, so here you see again I can put 0 for CaO, and we can get for CaCO3. CaO similarly 0 for CaCO3 and CaO. So again I am able to define. For carbon dioxide it is CaCO3 minus CO2. So on subtracting these values I will get carbon dioxide component. Okay, so again it is a 2 component system. Let us consider one more case, CaO and CO2. So it is the simplest case of all. So CaO, CO3, only for this we want to know. So that is CaO plus CO2. If I add these two, I'll get Ca, 3 oxygen and 1 carbon. So composition is defined. So other case you will put 0 and you will be able to define it. So hence in any angle decomposition of calcium carbonate is a 2-component system. So consider the decomposition of copper sulfate. So copper sulfate 5H2O giving copper sulfate 3H2O and water vapor. So using copper sulfate 3H2O and water vapor, I can define the other system, copper sulfate 5H2O. Otherwise copper sulfate 5H2O and water, I can define copper sulfate 3H2O. Okay, so from this I get component in, even though we have 3 component here, so it reduces to 2-component system. So C takes the value 2. Consider the formation of PCl5. So PCl3 liquid, gas, solid. So all the 3 phases we have. Okay, so it is again a decomposition process similar to calcium carbonate. So obviously it will be a 2-component system. Okay, so either of the two I can take to define all the 3 systems. Okay, here is another different case. Okay, ammonium chloride dissociation, solid ammonium chloride dissociate to form ammonia gas and HCl gas. Okay, so now how many components? Generally, dissociation, decomposition process we reduce by 1, right? So here we have 3 components. So 1 reduced, it turns out to be 2 components. So any of the 2 I can define all the 3 component, right? Okay, so it is 2. So if what happens, see here the ratio, if this decomposition process here, if these 2 product are in gaseous state. Okay, since these 2 are in gaseous state, if it is a closed system, okay, I can define it with 1 component itself. See here NH3 and HCl. In the gaseous phase, it turns out to be NH4Cl. So I can define the system solid phase as ammonium chloride, gaseous phase also ammonium chloride, because it is 1:1, it is of same composition, and these are 2 miscible phase. So to constitute a single phase. Since it is a single phase, so I'll be able to say as component as 1. But if it is an open system, in open system what will happen? There will be ammonia gas leaking or HCl gas in excess. Anything may happen in that case. If they are in equiratio, then I can find by ammonium chloride. If there is an excess of HCl or excess of ammonia, to define that I need another component. So it turns out to be 2 component if it is an open system, and in a closed system it turns out to be a single component. Yeah, let us see now degrees of freedom or variance definition. It is the minimum number of independent variable. Okay, how many variables is required? Minimum variable is required, such as temperature, pressure, composition, okay, of the phase, which must be specified in order to define the system completely. Yes, yeah, to define a system, how many variables are required? Minimum variables. These variables are independent in nature. Okay, is required to define a system is called as degrees of freedom or degrees of variance. Right? If f is equal to 1, we call the system as univariant system. You need not worry about degrees of freedom. Just if you calculate f is equal to c minus p plus 2, whatever answer comes, that is your degrees of freedom. So if f takes the value 1, it is univariant. If f is equal to 2, it is bivariant. And f is equal to 3, it is trivariant. F can also take 0 value. Component can never be 0. Degrees of freedom can be 0. So in that case, the system is said to be invariant. Okay, if f takes the value 0, it is invariant. System is said to be invariant. Let us see some example to understand degrees of freedom better. Consider example, ice, water, water vapor, right? So here, how many degrees of freedom? So we need to calculate here. So how many phase I have? I have 3 phase. How many component here? 1 component. So substitute F is equal to C minus 1. Then you will find the degrees of freedom to be 0. If we calculate that, it turns out to be 0. Hence, It is invariant system. The system is said to be invariant system. Consider a system considering water and water vapor. Say at water with water vapor. Then here, how many component? I have two component and two phase. If I substitute F is equal to C minus P plus 2, then I'll get the value as 1. It means it is a univariant system. I have to mention the pressure. If I say 1 atmospheric pressure, then you automatically say at 100 degrees Celsius water boils. If I say temperature as 100 degree, then you say at 1 atmospheric pressure water boils. Okay, if I say 2 atmospheric pressure, then from the graph, if you learn phase diagram, from the graph you will be able to identify the temperature value. Either of the one value is enough to define the system on if the variable, I mean f takes the value 1. Okay. Yes, let us understand this degrees of freedom in terms of a graphical representation. Okay, so here I have a blue dot, right? This blue dot is in the first quadrant. Okay, so how can I define this blue dot? What are the variables required for you to define this blue dot? Yes, definitely you want x value as well as y value. Both the values you want. You want x value and y value. So f takes the value 2. It is bivariant. So this first quadrant, second quadrant, third quadrant, fourth quadrant, all are areas. Okay, in a given area, to define any system, the system is said to be bivariant, right? Okay, if I'm going to plot a point on the line, okay, so here I plotted a green point on y-axis, okay. So now to define this green point, how many variables you want? What is the value you require? You require the value of only y. What about x? X is automatically 0, right? So f takes the value 1. Degrees variable required is only one variable, so it is 1. The system is said to be monovariant. Similarly, red dot on x-axis, here also f will take the value 1. System is said to be monovariant. If this yellow dot is at the center, right, at the origin, right? How many variables you want? So especially two lines are crossing, so it is a point now. Origin is a point, right? So for this point, how many variables you require? Definitely students, you don't require any point because you know origin is 0, comma 0, x is 0, y is 0. It's known to you. Then f takes the value 0. It means the system is invariant. You would have understood it better. Still, you want to understand things better. You want to identify your friend's house in a given area. Say, Avadi. You want to identify your friend's house at Avadi. Okay. So, what are the things you require? Basically, what are the things you require? You require street name and door number. Okay, I've told the area name is Avadi. So, you want street name, door number. So, two variable is required to identify a house. House is your system now in a given area. So, two variable is required. So, system is bivariant. Now, I have told you the street also. In Avadi, say first street. Okay. Then, what is the variable you require? That is street is line now. Okay. Street turns out to be a line or curve. Now, how many variable you want? I know it is on this line. So, I want only the door number. So, it turns out to be monovariant. One variable, if it is given to us, we will identify it. Right? If a owner's house, okay, if owner has to identify his house, okay, how many variable he want? Right? His own house, okay, he want to identify his own house. For him, he doesn't need any variable. In that case, it turns out to be invariant. He knows where it is situated, which row, which line, which number, which color, everything he knows. So, he doesn't want any variable. In that case, it is invariant. System is said to be invariant. By now, I hope so you would have understood the phase rule definition very clearly. What is phase, what is component, and what is degrees of freedom. Thank you students. Let us meet in yet another chemistry class.